We've all had moments that break us down, searching for light when the world spins round. But in those cracks, the purpose is born, a new way to live when the old is torn. It's more than a story, it's the rise from the fall, a place where your purpose starts to call. With Dr. Stephenson, wisdom takes flight, turning your pain into hope, into light. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. From heartbreak to strength, the lessons unfold. It's about how we rise, not the stories we've told. Guests with their journeys, sharing their light. In every collision, there's power in sight. It's more than a talk, it's the wisdom we gain through every struggle, through every pain. With conversations that open the door to purpose, to power, to so much more. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. So come as you are, with your scars and fears. This is the place where the truth appears. Turn your trials into stepping stones. Find the strength to claim your throne. Collide with purpose, embrace the change. Every story's got a fire in its flame. Tune in, listen, find your way to take life's hardest hits and turn the page. In the podcast, the truth is found. Collide with purpose, let love abound. A collision with purpose, your journey starts here. In every conversation, we'll wipe away fear. Find your purpose, let your life ignite. With Dr. Stephenson, you'll find your light.
Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are joining us from today. Welcome to Life-Changing Conversations to Inspire Action. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson. I am your host. In today's episode, we're going to be having a conversation about vision, leadership, and transformation. Today, we're joined by a leader whose passion is shaping communities and steering a movement that is redefining purpose all across the globe. Let us welcome the president of A Collision with Purpose Movement Africa, the Honorable Leonard Soita Kasaya. Together, we will explore where this movement is headed, how it is impacting lives in Kenya, and the bold steps that could transform the future of Africa as a whole. Let us begin. Hello, Honorable Leonard. How are you doing?
I'm great, Dr. Laxley Stephenson. Today has been a very busy day, but we thank God for having to enable us to be on this show. And I want just to thank everybody who is watching us this evening. First of all, my name is Honorable Leonard Soita Kasaya, a leader in Kenya, a leader of Coalition with Purpose Africa, and I'm happy to be on the show tonight because it's night here.
It is night indeed, and you have had a busy day, a hectic one. You know, you
Sure.
have a daytime job. You
Yes.
are the chief of staff for the governor of Vega County. So you were on official duties today. I understand that. Now,
Yeah.
Honorable Leonard, before we
Yes.
get into the mission and strategy of the Ecologian with Purpose Africa, can you share a bit of information about your early life? What experiences or challenges shape your passion for leadership and community transformation?
Thank you so much, Dr. Laxley. Uh, Leonard Soita Kasaya was born from a peasant family, and as a normal child, the struggle in this sub-Saharan Africa is not easy, but we fought through. We fought through. We went through education in the hard ways. It has not been an easy thing from that is the elementary level here to high school. After high school, then we went to college, which was not an easy thing because affording education here is not easy. So it needed a lot of sacrifice from parents and both myself to be where I am. But all in all, we had a focus. I had a focus and I was living a purposeful life where I had my own personal goals on how I wanted to go across this life. And I wouldn't have loved to see myself or my children living the lives of my parents, living the life of my struggles. Because when I say total poverty situation, I'm talking about a situation which, when I talk even to my children now, they cannot believe it. Because personally, I've stayed in a grass-thatched house, mud grass-thatched house. That is where we used to call home. And believe you me, it has not been an easy walk, but we have God in heaven. But as long as when I decided that this is I want to change everything from the life of my parents, the life of myself, and the life of my children, and the future generations to come, then God really was faithful and he opened up my purpose in life.
Very,
Yes, Doc.
very deep. Your beginnings, Honorable Leonard, those type of beginnings often hold the seeds of our greatest work. And in your case, they have grown into a mission for an entire continent. But before we dream forward and go forward, we must face the reality of where we are today. So, from your perspective, what are some of the most pressing social and economic challenges facing Kenya today? And how do these realities shape the kind of work a Collision with Purpose Movement Africa must do?
Sure, Doc. The biggest problem that we have at the moment in Africa is, and for me specifically, because I want to use myself as a case study. One, the poverty index here is so great, and the gap between the haves and the have-not is so huge. One. Two, getting even basic education is very expensive. And you see, this pulls off some of our children who are willing to go to school, but they cannot afford to pay even their school fees or to afford what it needs even to go to school. Three, when we look at the way we have set up our economic let's look at it broadly. How do we make somebody afford even a shilling or a dollar? The rate of unemployment is so great here, and most of the companies that used to offer even employment have shut down because of very many reasons. So even they would have been employers are running away and they're going to invest elsewhere because of the cost of production, the tariffs, the taxes, and what. So there's quite a lot of pressure that is being pushed towards the normal mwananchi who is the normal person, normal civilian here, it is a little bit strenuous. We look at the climate change, actually, also it has really affected us because there's a lot of interference with the climate. So the forecasting of how even those people who are relying on farming would plan and maybe have some subsistence farming that would provide even some foodstuffs to them is also a challenge. When you look at healthcare, personally, I'm looking at those issues that are having direct impact on our people. Affording even medication right now is a very big problem. You see, our lives here in Kenya is not like in the United States where you have the right to medication or to good health, because here you have to supplement and subsidize. Then how are you going to supplement that if at all you cannot even afford that $1? So it becomes a little bit of a struggle here. So everything that basically we are doing, it is a struggle and needs a lot of sacrifice, Doc.
Yes, big problems, deep problems, but problems that
Yeah.
can be dealt with. Now, what about the realities that you explained, that you shared with us? How does that shape the kind of work a Collision with Purpose movement Africa must do in the future?
I want to appreciate, first of all, Dr. Laxley Stephen, my president of Coalition with Purpose International, because the God who brought us together for us to meet, and I want to appreciate also, I will always be speaking about this, and I have to recognize one special person, Elizabeth Sitawa, whom I met through also a social way of doing things and social way of doing what she was undergoing, who indeed introduced me now to Coalition with Purpose International. And when I met with the president and when I met with the CFO, Dr. Donna Thompson, I listened to them. And the more I was listening to them, I could see people who are complementing what I really wanted to do or what my vision and mission were in Africa, because I have been an elected leader. I've represented people as a member of county assembly here. I've been a deputy speaker, so it gave me a platform where I could understand exactly what was happening in the entire county government. And my job now as a chief of staff who is supporting the governor of Vihiga County, Dr. Wilbur Titilo, really has taken me to the people. I really understand what people are going through, what they need. So when I met Dr. Laxley, when we spoke on phone, I looked at what he carried, because Coalition with Purpose, when I listened to Dr. Laxley, we were thinking together because we were thinking of leaving a legacy and a lasting legacy. One, we were thinking of how do we serve humanity, particularly the people who are disadvantaged, the ones who are on the lower end. How do we bring dignity in the lives of the people that we were going to interact with? And these are the people who are vulnerable in the society. How do we touch on people who are suffering? And this one specifically goes to the cancer fighters, cancer survivors, cancer relatives. How do we make people understand that these are our sisters, these are our brothers, and they are suffering and they need some little support? And the courage that was exhibited by my sister Elizabeth Sitawa to be very bold about how she was fighting cancer from stage 3 to where she is right now. She's one person also who inspires me. And through Dr. Laxley, through her, myself, then we said, in as much as people talk, whatever people talk about cancer, we must stand with these people. We must try and see how we are going to support them. And right from there, we looked at now a broader spectrum. I want just to appreciate the Kenya Outreach 25, which was a very great eye-opener to myself, and it really made me to discover so many things. And through friends who had traveled from miles and 1,000 miles from very far to just come and express love, shows sacrifice, thanksgiving, and giving back to our communities, which is really, they are really great virtues. And this one is something that since even the Kenyan outreach, whenever I meet anybody, Doc, I say, if you have even an extra dollar that you can contribute to somebody who is suffering, then let us get in. Let us see what we can do for another. I'll tell you a story today, but let us proceed of what happened just yesterday.
Yes, let us proceed indeed. You know, you laid out a situation where cancer is a major challenge. We're talking about poverty and other social issues within the society. Now, now that you have established what the landscape is about clearly, let's talk about where you plan to take the movement, the Collision with Purpose Movement Africa. When you look 5 years ahead, what is your boldest vision for the A Collision with Purpose Movement Africa?
My thinking, Doc, is in the next 5 years, Coalition with Purpose Africa movement must be established and must be having well-wishers and directors and stakeholders, people whom we share in the same vision of sacrificing, giving back to the community, helping the needy and helping the destitute, so that we put up a fully fledged office plus staff who are going to really get down to the roots of our communities, so that we do sensitization, we do mobilization of resources. We come together with partnerships that can be able to support the organization so that it can hold its roots and support the communities the way it has been supporting. The biggest problem here that we have, and this one I can't be afraid to talk about it, is majority of us, actually the people who have been pushed at least to a position of advantage, we don't want to sacrifice and give. And you see, sometimes I look at it even having too much. I've seen so many people since I was a child, actually, who are billionaires, who had quite a lot of resources, but you know, they never invested anywhere. They never invested in people. They never invested in their communities, but they invested just individually. But at the end of the day, some have perished. So sorry to say that. They have gone. And sometimes the way you look at how this wealth just deteriorates and disappears and there's no mark, to me, if you can make a child who is an orphan happy by donating something to her that can extend a day or that can bring dignity and hope to that person, and that's where I'm thinking of. How do we get men and great women like the people, like my president now of Coalition with Purpose International, with a team that visited the Kenyan outreach, then we come together and multiply. And that's what I'm appealing to my fellow colleagues, my fellow friends in Kenya. We are not here for profit making, but we are here just to support each other and to support our communities and to uplift our generations to come, without choosing color, without choosing race, without choosing a community, because our focus is to serve the entire Africa, to serve the entire Kenya, without saying that this is where we are going, this is not where we are going. Yes, Doc.
Thanks for sharing that. You know, Elizabeth is online. She's watching from Kenya, and she made a comment. She said, "Tough life." How about that? Tough life, and that is her description for how life can be in Kenya for some. And she went straight to the
Very
point.
true. Very true, Doc. Life is very tough. And sometimes here a day, you know, surviving in a day, let me use the right words. It's just like, it's by grace actually for some of us to see another day come, another day go. and some of the people are going even without a meal, even a single meal in a day. That one I can be sure, I can say it's happening. But you see now, what do we do? Because we as leaders, we as well-wishers, we need to come and do an assessment and look at how best can we mitigate in this situation and in these scenarios.
The organization, the name, A Collision with Purpose, speaks of transformative moments. What is the defining purpose driving the African division of A Collision with Purpose? How do we move it forward?
We have got no choice, because this is already a train that is off the station and it has to move. I know in the formative early stages we are going to struggle, but with proper structure, with like-minded people, with pushing for, actually the biggest issue here is resource mobilization. And when we talk about resource, we are not talking about funds alone. We are looking at people who can even sacrifice and give materials. And you see, anything you give us is not going to remain within us. You give us food, we take it where it belongs. And because you give us, let's say, you give us some of your even clothing that you feel that you cannot use, you have outlived them, we take them, because there is people who need almost everything that you can give or you can support in Kenya. So we are not looking at finances alone, because their problems here are myriad, and any other donation that we are going to get from well-wisher is going to go. But you see, we have got also our personal sacrifices that we are making. And I just want to share with you, Doc, like yesterday, the other day on Sunday, I got a lady who visited me at my home. And this lady was suffering. She had a very deep wound that she couldn't explain how it got. She developed it. I listened at her story and it was pathetic, because I was looking at a situation where if this situation is not addressed, the leg is going to be amputated. What do? We had to pay for her or 1 full year health insurance so that it can go. And you see, I would rather sacrifice and pay that, so that at least I push her life, because already she's a widow. So if she leaves the children who are depending on her again as total orphans, then it becomes a pity. So I said, no, I don't have. But you see, for me, if I save this life for now, it will help me and it will help the children that she's supposed to be taking care of. Yeah. So that is how tricky, and that's how fluid, and that is just one case, because there are several, and we cannot talk about all of them here now.
Of course, that we don't have enough time to go, through all the details. But just to paint a picture for anyone who is listening and watching us today, a person working in the maize field, what's the average as a laborer? What's the average pay? What does a day's pay look like for that person?
$1, $1 at the moment, about 150 Kenya shillings, and that can't afford
the exchange rate, of course, because I've seen the rate as low as 127. So,
yes.
So, and what can you do with $1, 150 Kenya shilling? What can you do with that?
You can't buy even a kilo of sugar or a kilo, because 2 kilos of cooking of flour is going at around the same 170 shillings. So it's basically, it cannot support you, to be very honest, fully. But you see, if that is what is available, our people spread it in small quantities so that they can afford at least each and every small item that they can afford to keep them going and to keep them running on with life, though.
$1 a day.
Yeah.
$1 a day.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And well, let's move on, because it's all about breaking cycles, right? And the next generation and how you engage them. So let's talk a little bit about youth empowerment. What role will Kenya youth play in shaping and sustaining the A Collision with Purpose movement Africa?
I think, kindly pardon, Doc, the role of the youth in supporting the coalition with purpose. Hello?
Yes, yes. What role will Kenyan youth play in shaping and sustaining the movement?
I think they have a very big role, Doc. This is the youth time. And for us here, I'm personally myself, I'm not a Gen Z, but they follow me. It's just a generation that is following me up. And one thing that I want to appreciate about our Gen Z, there are people who have gone to school very well. They understand so much things. They understand technology. But you see, the biggest challenge that we have is the aspect of employment and equally aspect of self-employment. So what do we do? How do we get out of this? How do we come through for some of our youth? Because the situation is also quite demeaning, because most of our youth are getting stressed. There are those who are equally stressed, and some have even committed suicide. Just young people, very well gone to school. Some of our youth have been because of lack of engagement and lack of activities that can keep them going. They have gone to drugs, and the drugs equally is a dragon that is also threatening the youth. Some of our youth have, you see, they are living a kind of a hopeless life. And that's why when you saw the upsurge of the Gen Z demonstrations, they were very powerful and very strong. And you see, that can come from somebody who feels frustrated and who feels like the government of the day, or they are not listening to us. It's not helping us. But equally, even the government, where I belong and where I also work, you know, we cannot employ everybody. The number of opportunities that are coming are very minimal. But I want to appreciate, yesterday we had the International Youth Day that was being celebrated across worldwide. I think it was an International Youth Day. And we had some formal engagement with the youth, where we are asking ourselves now, can we come together, look at proposals of what they have, and see in a small way, how can we, even through coalition with purpose, through well wishers, look at coming up with some small micro entrepreneurship projects where we can afford them some little capital that can kickstart them. Case for example, we can look at, how do we look at agribusiness? Is it possible for us, for particularly the youth whose parents have got land, we look for seedlings, we look for fertilizers, support them to come up with some projects that they can plant, even vegetables, so that we can market them? Can we have some capital that we can support youth to come up with poultry programs? Is there a way that we can come up, like now, my thinking, my bigger picture of Coalition with Purpose Africa is, how can we come up with an ICT hub, a place where the youth can go, access internet, access computers, try and see how they can engage with the world by doing any small business that they can even do online. So how do we jumpstart this? How do we get out of this? And these are the things now. As Coalition with Purpose, we are looking at Africa to see how we can penetrate, reach them, discuss with them, understand what they want, try and reason and see where we can come through for them, we come through. Where we can also network, when opportunities come up, we network for them so that they can get something that can afford them a smile and that can afford them to put some food on the table.
And Honorable Lenny, a Coalition with Purpose Africa is primarily operating in the Western region with a headquarters in Kakamega County. right? Now, of
Yes.
course, the goal and the objective is to spread all across Kenya, of course, but you have to start somewhere. We just lost Honorable Lenny. We're going to take a quick break while he comes back, waiting for him to come back. And he's back. Lost you
Yeah.
for a minute there, Honorable, but
Yeah.
welcome back.
Yes.
Now, we're just talking about, or my question to you was Kenya being the foundation, but I know that our vision, our mission is going to take us across Africa, the African continent, from the east coast of Africa all the way through Africa. Which country, what's the next country in Africa you see a collision with purpose doing this work?
First of all, we need to spread our wings across Kenya. And as you indicated, we are working mostly right now, we are concentrating on the western part of Kenya, but we are equally working in Nairobi. We want to cut across the 8 provinces, the 8 regions of Kenya, so that at least we have a presence, every province, every old province, so that we can be felt across the country. So that we look at it, how do we raise above all these, raise raise ourselves to go across the country. Then our other focus is most of our neighboring countries in East Africa. Looking at Uganda, we already have some well-wishers and people who want to join us. When you look at Tanzania, which is just also our neighbor here, we were thinking of even going up to Southern Sudan, where, we have had a lot of challenges again in those areas. And because our work is human, we are looking at how to bring dignity in humanity life. I don't think we have choices. We have to go even in places that have got more serious problems, where they have never known peace, so that we see and mitigate and negotiate and bring peace and bring hope to these children who are living in those dire situations, and the people also in those dire situations, Doc.
Absolutely. But, Honorable Lenny, Africa is incredibly diverse. How do you plan to adapt the movement's mission to address the unique needs of each nation, these different countries in Africa?
Each country has got its own unique challenges, and I think our strategy is to try. We shall analyze each situation and each need of each country, so that we can see that we are addressing the real issues. Because you see, as an organization also, we cannot address everything, but at least we want to look at how do we just bring hope, bring dignity, and change people so that they can live a purpose-driven life, a quality purpose-driven life. Yeah.
And one way I would suggest is we will have affiliate organizations in these different countries as well. We
Sure.
as a Collision with Purpose movement, we know that we don't know best what is best for all people. So we are here
Yeah.
to listen, pay attention, and to bring on people from these countries, these other countries, right? And I think that is
Yeah.
one way to adapt our vision and our mission to these different countries in Africa, and not just Africa, because purpose is one of those things that it is a big deal wherever we go in this world. It's a big deal. So any work of this scale, this magnitude, isn't just about today. It is about the story that history will tell about the movement and the players, the people involved. So, what would you like history to say about the work you and your team at the Collision with Purpose Movement Africa accomplish through the work that you're doing? What would you like history to say about your work?
I think there was coalition with purpose that came, that touched on us, that left a smile on our face, and we shall never forget, and we shall never forget also the people that we are touching platform, we are touching on their lives. But you see, what are we doing? In everything that we do, Doc, we must inspire somebody, even from that community, from that institution, so that they complement Coalition with Purpose. And where we are going is we have to recruit as many followers as we can, people with like-minded, people with like views. And we are telling our people in the communities that to make some of these projects, some of these things sustainable, they must also come together. You see, we have to capacity build the communities, and we have to educate them on why such kind of gestures are very important, so that whenever we live when we have recruited at least 3 or 5 members of the community to join the organization and to join the philanthropy work that we are doing, so that we inspire them again and we spur their level of support in some of these things that we are doing as an organization.
You know, Lenny, I should report that currently the Coalition with Purpose movement is growing at approximately 400 people on social media per month, per week. Each week we pick up a minimum of 400 new members. And I think that's a fast rate. We're growing. Now, online with us today watching, we have Chris Ebby from Denmark. We have Jacinta from Kenya. And we have people from Elizabeth on as well. We have folks on from Jamaica. So we're being watched from all corners of the globe. So indeed, this is not just a movement in Kenya, it is a global movement. And I know we framed it as a Coalition with Purpose Africa for obvious reasons, because that is where our foundation is. That is where we're growing from. Now, we know we can't do it alone, right? Everyday people are important to this movement. You don't have to be special or bring special gifts or skills. No matter where you live or what resources you have, you can be a part of creating the legacy that we're building here at the Coalition with Purpose. So to build a legacy, the magnitude that we're talking about requires partnerships. What kind of partnerships locally and internationally will be critical to the success of the Coalition with Purpose movement Africa?
I think, Doc, just as we are growing up, I wanted to tell you today, I've had an opportunity to attend an evening meeting with the American ambassador to Kenya on the sidelines of this Devolution with Purpose, with the Devolution conference that is happening in Kenya that brought together 27 counties. And what I can tell you is she has been very much amazed when I got an opportunity to share with her the story of Coalition with Purpose, of kind people who have been touched and who are doing so much great things here. And I just want to tell you, Her Excellency Carla Benini, the Charge d'Affaires of the American Embassy, who was representing the ambassador, is very much impressed. And we have agreed, because they want also to get to know these private partnerships that we are doing, and people who are American people who have just sacrificed and decided that they are supporting communities and they are doing a lot of great work. I've had an opportunity also to speak to Mr. James Hagnebar, who is the press attaché and a spokesman of the American Embassy here in Kenya. I've had an opportunity to speak to one Mark Esmok, an economic officer. And when I was giving them my story, our story of Coalition with Purpose Africa and Coalition with Purpose International, they were very amazed, and they are very grateful. And they said, I say a very big thank you for the work that you have done, for the sacrifices that you have done. And I regret, but I know when we are doing our 2026 outreach, we are supposed to also meet them. But we are going to start engaging and we are agreeing that they have what even the sidelines. And you see, this is now the initiatives I'm doing even on the sidelines of this conference. I've already started talking to stakeholders and to people whom we can spur so that they can also come through for us to continue supporting this organization. And you see, I'm not looking at the American embassy alone. I'm looking at all the other embassies. I'm looking at my people, the people, the membership of the Coalition with Purpose, the people we share with like-minded, to go out and spread the word, spread the mission that we are in, and say that, guys, listen, we have to do this, and we have to sacrifice, and we have to continue working very hard to support this organization. So there are no two ways about backtracking. There are no two ways. And me personally, I promise that I will reach out to every other person whom I feel like him or her can be able to push us a mile away. And that's the right way of writing now in the people's minds, writing in the leaving our legacy wherever we go, because wherever we have been, wherever we have set our foot, with your team, with my team, we shall never be forgotten.
Indeed, we shall never be forgotten. Now, as we're talking about collaboration, building partnerships, and let's talk about protecting the movements, the values, our values. How will you ensure that as we grow, as the movement's core, that the movement core values remain at the heart of every collaboration, every partnership?
Doc, we are going to do MOUs. We are going to do MOUs that are going to be our legal binding documents as we engage, because we have our vision, we have our mission. And you see, integrity, honesty, and giving back to the community remain our key tenets of operations, and transparency. We are open to scrutiny, and that's why we don't fear to talk to anybody, to talk even to the Kenyan government, because it will reach a time we need a conversation even with some of the offices in the Kenyan government that are supposed to support some of the initiatives that we are doing. And we are going to collaborate with them, because we cannot be an island. We cannot work alone. To achieve this, even Lenny or Dr. Laxley cannot do it alone. We need Jacinta, we need Elizabeth, we need all 1,000, all our followers. We now need to come from online following to come to reality and to actualization of some of the initiatives that we are talking about here, which we are already doing and we are set to go. And I can assure you, as my president internationally, I'm going to deliver Africa. We are very determined, and we have more focus than ever.
More focused than ever. And I agree with you on that. You know, that consistency, we have it. We're doing what we need to do. We just need to do more and more of it. And of course, it's early in the game. We're growing. Sure. It's early in the game. You know, on our most recent visit to Kenya, we had the opportunity to meet with PLO Lumumba. And I know we'll be doing some work with him and his organization in the future. Is there anything you can report on that?
I just want to appreciate Professor PLO Lumumba for the opportunity he gave us, for the interaction we gave us. And as people know, he's a great scholar. He's a great legal mind. He's a great tutor. He's a mentor. He has everything that we call for. And you see, we need men and women of courage like PLO, like myself, who can speak about the challenges that we are having as a nation, that we are having as a country, that we are having as communities, that we are having in our individual setups up to our devolved units, so that once we bring these issues out, then now we make them known. We start now looking at how best do we address this. And you see, this nation needs courageous people. This nation needs people who can speak out, to call everything the way it is, and say that, it's not ours, is not to create problems, but we look at the problems and start thinking of what are the best possible solutions that we can come up with to resolve some of these problems, so that we are part and parcel of the solutions again to some of these problems that we are highlighting.
And you said it right, because if you're not facing your problems, if you're not confronting your problems, if you're sugarcoating it, there won't be any solutions, not real solutions. And
Sure.
I should also say that the Professor Lumumba, he had invited us to visit his ancestral home, and we did that. And the objective was to see opportunities where we can collaborate in the future. So I know that is something we're looking at, and we'll get back to him on that. So I'm going to play a quick video and show some photos of when we visited Kenya. So just let me line it up. You can talk through this. That's Dr. Art Hines, one of our team member. And there is the Honorable Lenny right there, where all of the table we're having something to drink and eat there. And there's Elizabeth and myself, and yeah, and that's Dr. Donna right there, Shella in the backdrop. More of us. There's the Honorable Lenny, Dr. Donna, and some students there. That's us visiting a school. That was in I believe that was in Kitale.
Yes, in Transroya Kapchepsi Primary School.
And there's the Honorable Lenny delivering a message to the students. And look at those students. Aren't they amazing? And I should say, this is serious business, and we're talking about addressing some of the needs. This is real stuff, and we will need the support and partnerships and all kinds of different collaborations from individuals, from businesses, from government agencies. We're going to need it from everywhere we can get it from. And we even brought music with us. We have Joey West playing the saxophone, and it was just amazing. Of course, we're dressed up we're in our uniforms, a collision with purpose gears, and we do have those for sale. We have them for sale, on sale in Kenya. We have them on sale here in the United States. So we wear our own gears, and we also sell them. There's the Honorable Lenny in a collision with purpose. We're in the gears. We have Jackie, Donna, Yvonne, Elizabeth. And what was the name of this school, Lenny? We did a pit.
Kesogon. This is Kesogon.
And we did
Kesogon
build
this is where Elizabeth teaches.
And we did build a 6-door pit toilet at that school.
Sure.
Is that correct?
Sure.
And that is the principle there. And not only, one thing I will say, not only did we give, we also received.
Sure.
We made our donations, and then they didn't just let us walk away. They, meaning the principal and his organization, they didn't just let us walk away. They gave us something back, not just love, but they gave us something physical. The baskets and the woman received something. So it's a give to give type of situation. It's not a one-way street. So that was very special. And throughout our visit to Kenya, that was always the case. Everywhere we went, every organization that we visited, there's some kind of give back. So we really appreciated the appreciation, the love in return. And often when you're doing this kind of work, you'll go to places and you don't have any expectations to receive anything. But when you receive it, it sort of leaves a mark on you. In other words, it makes you want to come back. Say, I want to come back here and do more work. So that was special, and I wanted to show that. All right, so we talked about protecting the values of the movement, and you explained that so well. You know, we will sign MOUs and we'll make sure that we live up to our vision or mission, and we're not going to deviate from that. Now, Honorable Lenny, let's talk to that young person in Vega County, in Kakamega County, in Africa. If you could speak directly to every young person in Africa right now, and what is the one thing you would challenge them to do today to step into their purpose?
I think very, 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 very well, Doc. We are living our young people, I want to appreciate them because they are very enterprising, they are very knowledgeable, and they are very proactive in every matter now. And the good thing about it is they know their rights, which they are trying also to pursue. Actually, they know where they want to go. So one thing that I want us to say is we need to have purposeful and good engagements. One thing that I would appreciate is let them understand that we as the parents, we as the leaders are not against them, but we just need to get a platform. But equally is what I want to say is let the government also listen. Let the governments listen to the wishes of the young people, because there are those ones who already have ideas that can be very helpful to us as nations, so that we see how do we supplement or how do we complement them. Then we turn them into opportunities that can be able to address some of these challenges that we are having. So that one, I will say we have to do it. Equally, what I want to challenge our young people is the opportunities are very minimal and they are scarce, the job opportunities and employment. So we need to look at a situation where we can be innovative and self-creation, so that we can try and create our own self-employment, self-income generating activities, explore our talents. Those ones with talents, how can we support them? Teams like somebody like Jacinta, who is very well talented in music, what can we do for her so that we can just make her support herself? Because once she's in a stable, she gets, sorry, I was making some movements here. I was trying to set off my power. Yeah, I'm done. So people like Jacinta with talent, what can we do for them so that we leave them down to go out and also uplift other people and support other young people whom they can bring together? And how immediately we do that? Maybe by supporting them to get the equipment. Once they've gotten the equipment, we also give them opportunities. We give them pay-up opportunities where at the end of every performance, they are going to get something for whatever they have done, so that we have value for everything that we are doing. So it's all about, we need to understand that the opportunities are limited. But yes, if they are limited, what are we doing? We have a responsibility as parents, we have responsibility as government. So let us take the young issue to be our common interest. I think we need a conversation. We need a conversation with the youth, the government, the parents, so that we all own up to some of these issues that they are raising that are very valid, Doc.
Now,
yeah,
you hit on some very important points there, but one thing I want to ask you is, what role can the A Collision with Purpose Movement Africa play in facilitating some opportunities for these young folks in Kenya?
Yeah. And that is where, in the conversations that we are going to have with these young people, we need to get mentors. We need to get mentors. We need to get people who are going to inspire these youth. We need to get people with talents, people who can who can challenge the youth to spur off to push through some opportunities that they can adopt, and that they can change the setting. So as we set up the coalition with purpose, and it's already set up, because it comes with a lot of people with a lot of different backgrounds, some in business, some in medicine, some in military, some in businessmen. And you see, those are now the people we need to come on board and help us to go out together, so that we address and we face this issue of our young generation together, and see how we are going to unlock some of the opportunities for them and some potential in them, and to make those with talents also explore their talents to the maximum. Yeah.
I'm going to post the link if you want to join the Collision with Purpose Africa movement, if you want, and I'm also going to post where you can also join the international movement as well, because we do have the Collision with Purpose movement Africa, and we have the international movement as well. So you can join on social media there. We're all over the place. We have a website, we have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and yes, so we're looking for members to join, not just to join. We want to know what your challenges are. Share it with us. There's no way of creating solutions if we're not aware of the problems. And the problems must come from you. You have to share it with us. We cannot assume that we know what your problems are. So you have a voice, you must speak. You know, Honorable Lenny, I recall in an interview I had, and one person had said to me that we don't want you to just make decisions for us. We want you to make decisions with us. So I thought it was quite big, quite deep, quite heavy. And I think that as leaders, we must listen, we must pay attention, because if you're not listening, not paying attention, you won't understand needs. And if you don't understand what the specific needs are, then there'll always be a gap between decision makers and those who you're making decisions for. So if you want to comment on that, feel free. Now, I want to issue a call to action. And Honorable Lenny, as the president of a Collision with Purpose Movement Africa, how can those watching us or listening to us live or will later on take immediate action to support a Collision with Purpose Movement Africa? What can they do? What would you like them to do? It's an opportunity to tell them.
Actually, it's an appeal. It's a request. It is, this is voluntary. And me, as I said earlier, any kind of support, be it material, be it money-wise, be it even intellectual support, we are very much open to that. It's just a matter of logging on our Coalition with Purpose African website, which we are finalizing, logging on our social media trends, looking for Dr. Laxley Stephenson, looking for myself, and we put everything, because in everything that we are doing, as I said, 1, we are accountable, 2, we are very transparent, 3, we are working with a lot of integrity, and we are more than ready to accommodate anybody with any kind of support. And you are most welcome, ladies and gentlemen, who are listening and who can be of the same view, of the same thoughts that we carry and we harbor. Thank you.
All right. So we ask that you share the word, spread the message. And the more of us who are out there talking about the Collision with Purpose movement, the more of us who are join the movement and are willing to do the work, the more effective and the faster we will achieve our objectives wherever that is. And Honorable Lenny, before we close, any final thoughts? Anything else you'd like to add to our conversation today?
I just want to appreciate everybody, Doc. I want to appreciate the listeners. I want to appreciate our viewers. I want to appreciate everybody who follows us. And my parting shot would be, let us come together. Let us bring dignity and bring hope to the people who are hopeless. Let us bring purpose into life of people who are purposeless. Let us work together. Let us be each other's brothers and sisters keeper. And what I want to encourage is, in whatever little thing you do, look at your neighbor, look in your surroundings, look in your environment, look at the situation. Then ask yourself this one question. After you have made the observation, are we all together? No, we cannot be the same. What can I do for my neighbor? Or what can my neighbor do for? Because not everything that you can do. Even me, I have people who are supporting me to carry along this purpose. Because to carry along this work, and you need a teamwork. You need that psychological support. You need the physical support. You need emotional support. You need intellectual support. You need people around you so that you can share whatever you have. After you have shared, then you can disseminate this information. You can now break down them to actions and see how you can change somebody's life, how you can touch on somebody's life, and how somebody else can also touch on your lives. Because whoever is coming through for another person through you, again, is doing a very big thing in life, and God will never forget, and God will always bless you with that kind of gesture.
Awesome. And before we go, I think we should say a special thank you to Elizabeth Soita Kasaya for all the work that she's doing and continues to do every single day. And I want to send her special love, healing, love. She's dealing with challenges with cancer, but maybe there's no stronger person walking on this earth than Elizabeth Soita Kasaya. So we want to give her our blessings, our love. Also want to say a special thank you to Dr. Donna Thompson, the CFO of the A Collision with Purpose movement, and we know what her work is all about. Can't do it without her, right? So those are two individuals that are critical to the movement, and we must, that they're so critical that we got to give them the love that they deserve. All right, so if you're watching us and something that was said today resonates with you and you see some alignment with what we're all about as the Collision with Purpose movement, Africa and international, then share this conversation, share this broadcast, and just spread the word. Invite your friends, your family to join the movement. You can do so on social media, on Facebook. We have a number of pages. Now, Honorable Leonard Soita Kasaya, let me say thank you for giving us not only your vision, but you've shared your heart for the people of Kenya and Africa, and I really appreciate that. Today's conversation is a reminder that purpose without action is just a dream. But when purpose collides with action, history changes. We make a difference. We make a difference. To our audience, you've heard the challenge. You've seen the vision through the words of the Honorable Leonard, the president of the A Collision with Purpose Africa. Now it is your turn. Yes, I'm talking to you, our audience. It is your turn. Whether through your voice, your time, your skills, or your resources, you can be part of building an Africa that thrives. This is not just our movement, it is your movement. And together, we, the Honorable Lenny, Dr. Donna, myself, Elizabeth, we can make a difference. and we intend to make a difference, not just in Kenya, but throughout Africa. So until next time on Life-Changing Conversations to Inspire Action, I ask that you stay purposeful, you stay committed, and you remember, always remember, the future we want is the future we need to build. And that is a great place to sign off. All right. So thank you for joining, and I see you next week. Same time on Life-Changing Conversation to Inspire Actions.
We've all had moments that break us down, searching for light when the world spins round. But in those cracks, the purpose is born, a new way to live when the old is torn. It's more than a story, it's the rise from the fall, a place where your purpose starts to call. With Dr. Stephenson, wisdom takes flight, turning your